I always do, and then because I get caught off because I've done that last four
Oh,
times. Yeah. Um,
um, it says
welcome
live
to
now.
oh sorry. Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, go.
Oh, you go. Okay, you go. Um,
Right now, you go.
welcome to Track Off. My name is Justin,
And my name is Alexia.
and today
Today.
I'm hurt. I
Yeah.
had a bad thing happen to me. I was doing some stuff, and while I was doing some stuff, suddenly I couldn't feel my right foot very well.
Yeesh.
I was driving, and you know how they have those two pedals next to each other, and you have the
I'm familiar with them.
and you have the
I mean, I
gas
know
and the
I
brake.
mostly ride a motorcycle at this point, but I
That's true.
recall that in a car,
That there are those two
like
pedals.
there's like a brake pedal and there's a gas pedal, and that like if you have a clutch, like there's like a clutch down
No,
there too
no, fuck a
potentially.
clutch. No, fuck a clutch up. It's
Fuck a clutch.
clutch face. No. I don't need a clutch in my life, man. It was hard enough for me to move. So the problem was I couldn't move very well. I can move, I can go from the gas to the brake, and that was fine. But it
Uh-huh.
was causing me a lot of like pain in my leg when I did it. I can still move. It's got tons of control. My control has absolutely not changed at all. But it was mostly I felt it in my toes. So I went home and I walked in and I wear what my friends, and you've seen me enough in the summer to know my friends joke at me and call me my Jesus sandals. That I've got
Hmm.
these leather sandals that look like sandals Jesus might wear.
Sure.
And I took off my Jesus sandals. I walked across the carpet, and I was like, oh fuck, am I like tracking like tar on the carpet? Or is there something, you know, that feeling you get when like there's like
Oh
something
yeah, like if there's something in your shoe or there's like something on your foot.
like on your foot, and you're like, oh, what is that? And no, it's just that I had a numb spot on the bottom of my foot.
Yeesh.
Um, and so I started wiggling my toes, and I was like, oh, my left toes wiggle really good, and my right toes don't. Um, so I called my brother, who's a doctor, and he said, yeah, you need to go to the emergency room right now. So
Yeah,
I
'cause that's
went,
scary.
and they gave me an MRI, and they put me in overnight. And long story short, like there's some diskage pushing on some nervage, and it's so. Before everybody starts sending me messages about what I should do, because
'Cause you don't know
don't.
what comes next.
That'll just piss me off. Because I'm under care of a lot of really cool people. But it's been an interesting thing, and that I feel like I have a bit of a cold too. But I
I
feel
was
like a
gonna
hunt.
say you've been coughing a little bit. Like, are you sick too? Like, poor
Well,
thing.
but I like other than like a little cold, I feel like 100% okay. Like I feel like I've got like a little bit of back pain, like a 1 or 2 out of 10, and then
Okay.
I've got like I can't wiggle my toes. And
So when
other
you
than
went, was that this case when you went to the emergency room as well? Like that was where your pain rated? Like it wasn't higher when you actually went to the emergency room? It
I
never
mean, there's
got high?
it's I mean it's more detailed, and I'd be more than willing to talk to you off air about like all the details about it, but like I just yeah, I had some big pain before that then turned into this. Right now it's weird that I feel fine except that I can't wiggle my toes, and I just feel like a time bomb. You know, like knowing that there's like some shit pushing against my nerve edge, like I'm like it's a big major thing, and I feel
Yeah,
like I
does it
could.
make you not like, I mean, this is because I've never really been in that position. Does it make you like kind of be like, should I do this thing? Like, should I move in this way? Like, does it make
Yeah,
you
oh
sort
yeah,
of second guess that stuff?
how should I sleep? I'm of course spending time. You know, Google's great, and you know, you Google all the
Oh, the
things that
internet,
you
there's
should do.
all the information on the world,
Sure.
right?
Hey, side note, I was on Facebook the other day, and guess what? Guess
Hmm.
what? The first use of the term Google as a verb came from. Here's the conversation. Have you Googled her? She's 17. The question, have you Googled her, was posed by one Willow Rosenberg to one Xander Harris
That's the
on Buffy
first
the
time
Vampire
it
Slayer.
was used that way,
First time it
really?
was ever used as a verb is on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So there
Really?
you go. And now Yahoo executives use the term "Have you Googled?" And then they're like, "Why didn't you say why have you Yahooed?" And they're like, yeah, that's gonna take a little getting used to." So an interesting note.
That is interesting.
But so yeah, so it is weird, and it's a weird. Sometimes I can, sometimes it's just tingly. Right now, I really I can barely, but it's otherwise I'm fine. Like I'm walking around, I'm eating cake.
Yay for cake. I think
Yay
you
for
should
cake.
have all the cake that you want. Like, I normally I mean, this might be an episode where, sorry guys, I might be nicer to Justin than normal. Like, it's gonna be
No,
hard
fuck
for me to
me.
be
I'm a
mean to
dick.
you.
I'm a
It's
dickhole.
gonna be hard for me to be super mean to you, but like that's like right now when I'm talking about it, and I'm all like, oh, poor Justin. But like the moment you say something idiotic, that's probably
I
gonna
know.
run out the window, and I'm just gonna be like, you're such an idiot. The fuck is wrong with you?
So I thought today that it would be fun. First of all, before we get into our topic, how was your first of all week, and how was your Trek week? Did you have anything Trekky?
Yes,
Trekkers.
I've been watching. I've been continuing my rewatch of Next Gen, and
Where
and
are
I
you?
actually I almost called you. Not last night, maybe the night before. It was like super late. Like it was like 4 in the morning, and I was almost like, maybe he's up.
No.
I doubt it, but I almost texted you even just to be like, he's asleep, but they don't see this when he wakes up because it was the candle episode. Like every time I watch that episode now, like all I can think about is you. And
Beverly having sex with a candle.
and here's the thing, like
A
I'll
candle
say
that
this.
looks like Shakar from DS9.
Here's what I'll say
'Cause it's
about that
Shakar.
episode.
It's Shakar, right? It's Shakar.
I think so.
Yeah, it is. It's Shakar. Kira's
Okay.
boyfriend Shakar from DS9.
Okay. Here's what I know. Like, it's kind of a fun episode to watch and make fun of, which is odd for me because it's not really, you know me. I'm a lover. You know, I'm like, I love Star Trek. I love everything about it. But like, honestly, like ever since we talked about it, and like I've seen it a couple of times since then, like I have to just be like, I'm so sorry, Gates McFadden. Like I feel really, really bad for her. Like, cause I feel like being an actress myself, like I could see like being torn, being like, I get this this me-centric episode, like, and that's really exciting and that's really cool, and I'm gonna have, you know, a lot to do, and then like this is what I get to do. I get to like pretend to like be masturbatory with like thin air, and then I get to have really awkward moments of this guy touching me on the face, like awkward hand touches. Like I'm so sorry for her, like, cause she's totally better than that. Like, and it's just awful. Like, it's not like the episode when she's losing everybody. Like, that's a great episode, and she's great in it. And it's like, I could just imagine the moment, right? Like, it's like you get the script and you realize it's like a you-centric episode. You're like, oh, awesome, and you
Finally,
get all jazzed.
because she doesn't get a lot.
She doesn't.
Right?
She really doesn't get a lot of like, this is the one that revolves around Dr. Crusher. Like that, I'd say there's like maybe 5.
No, there's more than that, and she's got a couple good ones.
I mean, I guess it doesn't occur to me as often as it happens for Troy. I feel like there are far more Troy-centric episodes than Beverly-centric ones. And it was just, I was just like, you poor dear. Like, like she's fucking sitting in a chair, like,
I know.
and like, fucking,
I want to see the footage before the special effects are added.
like, how awkward did that have to be on set for her? Like, and it's so not normal. And like, then he walks in, like fucking Picard walks in on that shit, and it's like, and then you just find yourself being like, oh, I'm sorry, Beverly, I didn't mean to interrupt. Like, and I think it's totally what he says, but like the subtext there is, I didn't mean to interrupt while you were masturbating. Because it's like so obvious what she's doing when he walks in.
I think it'd be great if they renamed the episode Candildo. That's my suggestion.
That's actually kind of a great title for it.
Candildo.
Like, and the whole conceit.
And here's what you do.
Candle is a little ridiculous, frankly.
And instead of whatever his name was, the ghost in the candle, what if his name was like Candildo, and they play totally straight. Like totally straight.
Seriously, them playing that episode straight at all is a monumental effort.
But I'm just saying, what if they take it the step further, right? And you go, my aunt knew a man named Candildo. Candildo. My aunt. Oh,
she had this really erotic passage about Candildo in her.
Candildo. No, I spent some time alone with Candildo.
He's actually really great. His name was Ronan, which is a way cooler name, by the way.
Yeah,
but
he
does
does
not
that
make
cool
up
name.
for.
His
No,
name
he
should be
doesn't.
Candle Doe. Candle Doe is his name. That's his name now.
That's his new
Even
name.
when I see him as Shakar, his name will now be
His name
Candle
will not be Candle.
You're welcome, listener.
It's one of those episodes where like I said, seriously, it's like a Herculean effort for all of them to like not be like, are you fucking kidding me right now? Like, and then last night I just watched the Masks episode.
Oh, it's awful.
I kind of feel the same way, like where they're just kind of like.
You see, here's the thing: is that the first time that he does the voice, he goes, "Asaka is waking." That's scary as shit. That's really good.
It is.
And then it's like from that, like a free fall from the top of a roller coaster I will never be able to ride on again. It just goes down and except it like goes down and just kind of smooths out, and that's your ride. You're like, yeah, that's it. That's right.
Everything.
It's really just them wearing masks in the holodeck. That's what this is about.
That's really what's
season 7. This is. I remember this season because it was my senior year of high school. I remember the season, and that segues really well actually into my Trek week because not only did I show the episode The Inner Light to my oldest child, which was interesting. He really enjoyed it.
Nice.
But I discovered something on Twitter. Star Trek: The Next Generation season 8. It is a series, given that season 7 was not much worse, but I would say much more hit and miss. It had Candle Doe, it had Masks, it had they devolve into like the earlier genetic versions of themselves, and Barclay's a fish or whatever.
Or whatever. I remember that one, yeah.
It's the one they have the one where they get stuck in time and Picard draws a smiley face in the fucking mist. And much of the season 7 was worse than season 6, and as such, they follow that trend into season 8. And I'm getting this from at TNG_S8 on Twitter. I'm going to read you some of the season 8 episode synopses that they have listed.
This should be great.
All missions are put on hold until Worf locates his contact lens. The crew nervously waits in silence as he angrily crawls the corridors. Picard's production of Macbeth becomes far too real. Having torn apart the warp core, Geordi now thinks the weird noise is coming from Data.
Okay.
Riker cautiously dates a sexy sentient bomb. Picard drinks water raw, awkwardly coughs for 10 minutes in front of an angry Romulan. Picard puts his life on the line to protect a sacred book. O'Brien's uncle shows up drunk and confused and keeps demanding to fight Quark. I'll do 5 or 6 more of these. Worf guides Picard on a perilous Klingon captain safari. Geordi and Data are near death after stealing and eating an entire wedding cake.
Okay, but seriously, wouldn't that be funny? Like, the Wedding Crashers with Geordi and Data? Think about it for a second.
Spock visits the Enterprise to give Data a special gift. Geordi's miffed that Spock never remembers who he is, gets real pouty about it. Troy guides a dying ensign through his final emotional journey. Data and Geordi are trapped on a conference room table by a scary dog.
Yeah.
Again, this is TNG _S8. I'll do a couple more of these. Picard must choose: caulk the Enterprise and float it across a Tachyon River, or attempt to ford it. Barclay gets dysentery.
Oh, Barclay.
Beverly defends a sentient virus. Instead of dumping his alien girlfriend, Wes is hoping her life cycle turns her into a tree or something.
What?
Let's see. I like this. This just tickles me. Picard suspects a terraforming company is instigating planetary wars. Data and Geordi have to spray a dolphin every 30 minutes or it'll die.
So random.
Q hosts a temporal Q reunion on the Enterprise, invites all his past selves. Worf vows to crush whoever started the Worf has a tail rumor. Last one, and there are tons there. Maybe we'll do more later on other episodes. Here's one. Picard must debate a copy of himself to the death. Geordi and Data really want to find their snake before anyone notices it's gone.
What's funny is the first part of that almost could be an episode for realsy.
Oh my gosh.
Like, could you just see it now? Like, I mean, think about it. When you've got him pretending to be, who is it? Corgano?
Yeah.
In masks, like, I could see him having a debate to the because, like, seriously, think about how that episode ends. He, like, shows up with this fucking mask on and says, "I'm Corgano, and I'm gonna, like, fucking wing a bunch of bullshit, even though because I've studied, you know, stuff and stuff, so I know stuff about ancient civilizations because, like, it's kind of a pet hobby thing I've got going on. So I'm just gonna, like, wing that shit and be like." But you like it when I chase you, don't you, baby?
Oh,
and then you chase me, and it's great. And she's like,
oh,
you're right. I'll
stupid.
leave. And everything just like that goes back to the ship's just fine, everybody. Awesome.
Hey,
Like,
you know what?
So I
Between
could see him actually debating himself to the death. That could happen.
Between Masks and Fistful of Datas, I want to come straight out and go, Brent Spiner cannot play every role. He's good at some stuff. He's a very good actor at some stuff. But somewhere along the line, they were like, he's such a good actor because he is, that they thought he can be every role. And Fistful of Datas, again, another episode that's just like, it's eye-rollingly bad. Here, I'll give you one last one.
At least that one's a little bit funny.
Yeah.
Because you've got, and there's like an actual element of danger there, and you have Worf actually bonding with his son, which is really sweet. So it's not like there's some redeemable stuff in there, you know?
Yeah.
But like there kind of isn't in Masks. Like there's nothing that comes out of that episode.
When Picard is taking that mask off his face, when he's taking the mask off, you can just see how much he hates himself.
That's what I'm saying. Like as actors, like I really feel for them in that episode. Yeah. Like it's just got to be like when he's sitting there going, "I'm here. I'm Corgano." It's like, why are you here? And like, I'm just like, I can just see it like through. I'm like, you guys, I know, I feel for you. I'm sorry. Like, it's when you go see that show that your friends are in, and like, you know it's bad, and they know it's bad, and they super appreciate that you came to support them, and that you just got like, I'm sorry. And they're like, I know. It's like that. That's what that episode is.
I almost just said something really catty on your behalf, but I didn't. Last one. Riker infiltrates a saboteur cult in the neutral zone. Worf demands an honorable death when the crew learns his middle name is Ashley.
Stop.
I love this. We should do this every time. This is amazing. We'll just do our season 8 episode of the day. We should what we should do. We should come up with an entire spin-off to Trek Off where we go into each one of these episodes and we just do the whole episode on the like say what that episode becomes, and make it our. So they're going to turn this into a book. This is going to end up being a book. It's a Twitter feed that has like been bought up to be a book. I think it's amazing.
That's awesome.
So I was thinking, if you are game, our topic for today, Back to the Future. Get it? Because my back is having problems.
You get it? It's a pun.
Oh, you were gonna. Yeah. By the way, speaking of my back, what episode did you just watch? Speaking of my back.
Oh, I know. It's so interesting that you're having because like, didn't we just talk about the Worf episode like I don't know an episode or two ago on our show? Because I'd seen that episode recently, and I just think it's interesting that like. Now here you are having back issues. I almost feel somewhat responsible. I didn't mean to watch that episode. I take it back.
Well, you take it what?
I take it back. I didn't see the one with Worf. I take it
back. Stop saying back.
So now your back should be fine.
No, wait, no, stop. No, it's interestingly, as soon as this happened, I tried to commit ritual suicide.
I was gonna say like, and then was Mrs. J like, no.
Yeah, she's like,
and
no,
then your boy was like. Dad.
she's like, no, you still got to make dinner. I was like, fuck.
Fuck.
I guess it's spaghetti again.
No, here's what actually happened, right? Because I feel like in this episode she'd be Riker. So she like came into the kitchen. She's like, you know what? I'd love to help you with this because I'm your wife and I love you. But you know, I've read up on the laws and it goes to your eldest son. So if you want someone to help you die, you better go ask him.
Then to her surprise, I'm like, fine, here. Hot daddy here. Hot daddy here. Interestingly, what I have found out is that I also have secondary vestigial organs throughout my body, which is weird because never before had it ever been mentioned that I had secondary organs.
So that's convenient, though.
But it turns out that I do. And so there. So
that's fascinating. Like, I imagine that makes you quite the subject for study then.
Isn't that episode also like a Crusher episode, like half of the time? Like Crusher's like yelling at this other doctor, like she's like,
a little bit.
That's not how medicine's supposed to be. I hate you. And then
there is a little bit of an ethical quandary there, but I feel like it's muddled somewhat because in that episode it's like we're not talking about that. Like, because when it comes to it, like, when the lady, like, kills somebody, like, I guess they have, like, an emergency situation that they go help with, and she's like, if you need all the hands you can get, like, I'll help out. And she's like, cool. And then she's like, what happened to this patient? He's like, oh, yeah, he died. And she's like, why? And she's like, oh, well, I gave him this thing. And she's like, why didn't you give him this? Oh, because he couldn't take that. Well, then why didn't you give him this or this? She's like, well, because I didn't think those would work. So, like, that's blatant. That's like, who the fuck do you think you are, lady? But in the case of Worf, like, he's going to kill himself.
Yeah.
Like, he's not gonna. There's not another option. Like, there may actually be another option technically.
How awesome would that episode have been if it became like Better Off Dead, where like he continually tries to kill himself, but
and then like can't.
It just doesn't work out. Like over and over, he like tries to throw himself off the ship, and he accidentally throws himself like into like the latrine.
That's not Better Off Dead. That's a different movie.
That's Better Off Dead. That's
the
plot of it. John Cusack keeps trying to kill himself in Better Off Dead, and he keeps failing.
Does he keep trying to kill himself?
Yeah.
I know. The part I always remember about that is I want my $2. That's what I remember from Better Off Dead. And the hot French chick.
Yeah, it's just...
He does try to kill himself a couple times. No. The movie I always think of about like trying to kill yourself and botching it is, I think, Out of Time, maybe? It's the one with the guy from Cloak and Dagger, and he's like a dad, and his test results get
Groundhog Day.
Get switched.
Oh yeah, Groundhog Day.
Well, definitely Groundhog Day. Dabney Coleman, thank you. Dabney Coleman is like a father, and his lab results get like switched with some other dude, and so he finds out he's gonna die, but like his family gets way more money if he dies in some kind of an accident. So like he keeps trying to like stage these accidents, and it never works out, and then you find out in the end like he gets the results, and he's been trying to kill himself the whole movie, and like it's comedy.
Yay! A suicide comedy. Whee! So our topic for today, I thought it would be fun, since we are calling this episode Back to the Future, if we talked about what characters and let's choose an era. Let's choose well, first of all, let's say the idea is what characters from other franchises, specifically franchises set in the 20th century or the 21st century in present day, would do well on Star Trek. But I think we have to set some ground rules first. Let's start off with, what ship do you think would be which show would be the easiest to integrate onto? Do you think? I think Next Gen. I think that it's kind of a cushy ship. It's kind of like, you know, they'll take you to there's a bar. Yeah, you don't need to, you can know where a bar, like they're constantly taking people from other cultures and going, here, see 10-4 where it's nice, and they're like, 10
oh, this is nice.
Yeah, no, this is good. Okay, we'll go here. They'll take you to the holodeck and make you cry that your time is gone. You know, so are we gonna say like on 24th century TV era, Next Generation, Enterprise D?
Okay.
The best place to go if you're going to go from the 21st century. Agreed?
Agreed.
One might say the Enterprise from Enterprise because that's closer to now, but that's really more like suddenly being on a submarine. You know, it's like it's not.
Yeah, that's a little bit more like suddenly being on the International Space Station, like right now. Like
yeah, it's like I
don't really know what to do with myself.
I want to be on in the 24th century's version of Royal Caribbean. So that's where we are. And by the way, if anyone out there gets bored, just YouTube search Love Boat: The Next Generation because it's brilliant. Do it. Do it now.
Do it.
It's awesome. The weak and the powerless have no place in shuffleboard, Captain.
I could see how that would work and be really, really funny.
Have you not seen that?
I don't know that I've actually seen. I feel like I've seen parts, maybe.
It's when Patrick Stewart was on Saturday Night Live, and
okay. Yes. It was a really long time ago.
In that, Captain Stubing looks a lot like Captain Picard. So
it sure does.
It's an easy translation. So so if we say that, let's start with some shows. What shows are you watching now that take place let's say 21st century or before? What are you watching right now?
I've just started watching, actually, me and Mr. A have started watching The West Wing because we never actually watched that show when it was on.
Interesting.
And I've wanted to watch it for some time because I love the movie The American President, and I love Aaron Sorkin, and every time I would catch bits of that show, I always liked the characters and thought, this show's cool. But, like, it was at a time when TV wasn't as easy to keep track of, and, like, I was in college and shit, and, like, so it wasn't something I could watch on the regular. And it was a show like DS9 where you kind of had to, or I'm finding out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because if you don't know what happened, like, 3 weeks ago, like, you may not get the political shit that's going on. And, like, it's a great show. Like, I really enjoy it. I think we're to, like, season 4 right now, maybe?
Ironically, I've started watching House of Cards, which is the evil West Wing.
Oh, yeah. No, I've watched that as well. Like, I've seen the first season. I haven't seen season 2 yet.
I love that in episodes 2 and 3 of House of Cards, just like in the background as they're writing the education bill, there's our good friend Elliot Kashner, Frankenstein from Ninjas vs. Monsters. It's just like sitting around there in the room.
Yeah, my other friend Jen Osborne is in that show too. Like, she like gives what's her name, like, files or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. It's like, oh, Jen, hi Jen.
He's like in the background for like 20 minutes, and I can't watch the show.
It's really distracting.
So let's start off on West Wing. I don't know West Wing on that all that well, but what character from West Wing do you think would do best, and what character do you think would do worst in a transplant to the 24th century?
Best and worst.
Let's start with best. Who do you think would acclimate immediately?
What's the question?
Which character on West Wing would do best on the Enterprise?
Enterprise D.
The Enterprise D, like Next Gen.
Next Gen Enterprise. Which character on the West Wing would do the best?
Yeah, like if they just wound up.
Like, boom, they wake up.
Like, boom, they wake up and they're like, fucking.
They got to deal with it.
They got to deal with that shit. I think CJ. That could just be because I adore her. Like, she's my bestie. I love her.
Craig would do well.
I think CJ Craig would do quite well. Do you think someone would do better?
I mean, here's the thing. It's all politics and, like, game playing and shit, and that stuff doesn't fly in the Star Trek universe.
That's true.
It's true, but that's why I say CJ, because I feel like she's not. I feel like there's a place for what she does.
Yeah, she'd be the communications officer.
She could be the communications officer. Like, there would still be a need for communications in that environment. You know, for spin doctors like CJ Craig. Like,
Jed Bartlett.
You see Jed?
Jed Bartlett.
I think he would feel really out of place with it.
No.
Because I know because he's really a historian.
Commander-in-Chief.
Well, I know he's the commander-in-chief. I get that he's the president.
But if he's a historian, I mean, wouldn't he be really interested in, like he'd get the whole history, do you think he'd get all academic about it?
Frankly, I think Leo would make a great first officer.
He might get all academic about it. You're right. I mean, honestly, I could see them having a ship of their own. Like, I could see Jed being a captain of a ship and Leo being his number one, and that shit working out just fine. Like, I could see all of them, honestly, like, making up their own little crew. Like, that's what would be. So Jed would be the captain.
That would be amazing. Could you imagine, like, you take West Wing and all of a sudden they're just in space, just like for one episode? They don't explain it.
And so Leo, yes, he's the first officer, and then CJ would be communications. Josh would be maybe the counselor? Because I feel like Toby would
I
probably.
don't know any of these people. I have no idea who you're talking about. We should I'll let you do this, and then after I do House of Cards, we should stay on geeky shows because if I don't know what you're talking about, probably many of the people
I
listening.
know. Probably most people
Josh
haven't
and
watched that
Steven?
show, but it's a good show. But I mean, that's what I would say. Probably the best fit I think would be CJ, and I think the worst fit would probably be Toby, just because he's kind of crabby.
I'm going to jump over to House of Cards, and I'm going to say that I think that the best fit. I want to say Frank because I want to feel like Frank can just deal with fucking anything.
Yeah.
But and again, I'm only on like the 3rd episode, so don't spoil anything. But I feel like Zoe, at least where I am right now, would be redeemed by like whatever dark path she's gonna go on. And look, the spoiler alert: the show's called House of Cards. So
So like some.
I have a feeling shit's gonna come crashing down on people. Just have because it's called House of Cards. And what is the fundamental attribute of a House of Cards except that it falls down? So I would think that Zoe would actually be the one she'd be that one who'd be a little bit damaged, and then her ambition would be get put to good use, and she'd like enter Starfleet and she'd like do okay. I want to actually say the one that would do worst would be fucking what's her name, Princess Bride, Robin Wright.
See, I think Robin Wright would do really well. That's so interesting.
Yeah. I don't think that her shit would fly. That's the thing. I don't think that.
I mean, her shit. Like, she's got all this shit that she's trying to fly.
You know, at least where I am on season 3, you know, maybe it's because she doesn't look unlike our friend Kat Gadway.
See, but you cannot start attributing Katniss.
See, but here's the thing is that, and again, it's just fun. Let's talk about people only you and I know.
I know, right? We'll just talk about our friends, you know.
But I played in Macbeth opposite her, and I know that House of Cards is Richard III, but she's just so Lady Macbeth-ish. I just can't see that. Like, I can see immediately it's not going to fly on the uber positive Enterprise. I just feel like she would be like she'd be so unhappy.
I feel like she wouldn't need to do any of the stuff that she does. Like, I think she would thrive in being able to just stand up for what she believes in and have that just work without any.
Yeah, but she wouldn't have to stand up for what she believes in because everything's good. I mean, that's the thing, is that I feel like there's a, and forgive me for saying so, there's such a saccharine-ness to Next Gen. It's so good. I think that's why you had to do DS9 to go, it's not so good. Because Next Gen was like, it's perfect, there's no disease and there's no money and everything's good and everyone can eat and you go to the holodeck and be whoever you want and everything's good, and even the unpopular guy, everyone becomes his best friend and everything's good and we all have cake on Tuesdays. And I just feel like she would show up and she'd be like, fuck this shit. Like, she would just be like, she would be almost like a Romulan on the ship. It'd be just like she would not know what to do with that much. Just like, hi, it's good to see you.
I feel like Kevin Spacey's character would be a Romulan in
See, that's the thing, though.
Those are the people he would relate to. Like, see, I guess you haven't seen how dark that mother.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I think those are the people. I think he would do really well on the Enterprise because he would manipulate everyone to get himself to the Romulan Empire, and that's where he'd go. But I feel like here's the thing. He feels comfortable in every situation, at least where I am. No matter what comes,
Sure.
He lies easily and he's comfortable. She is so prickly. I don't think prickly fly. I think she'd do better on DS9.
But that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like because things are good in the future, like, she would be relieved. I think she would be relieved to just be able to be herself and have that be okay because the world's not all fucked up. I think she would be relieved.
Let's go to characters that everyone knows, a show that you and I both watch, a very geek-friendly show. Sherlock.
Yes.
Who does well and who does badly?
Well, Sherlock does well wherever he goes, I feel like.
Does he?
Does he? Yeah, does he, though?
I mean, he does well wherever he goes where he can be smarter than everybody. But he's not smarter than everybody. First of all, he's not smarter than Data.
Yeah,
And-
he wouldn't be smarter than Data, and that would irk. I feel like that would definitely irk.
And he's probably not smarter than Picard. And then he tried to pull that shit with Guinan, and she'd pull the rug out from under him. She'd she'd smile at him, then say the one fucking thing to get him. And then he'd try to lie to Troy, and Troy would immediately see through him. And then he tried to pull that shit and impress Worf, and Worf would be like, "Fuck you, I don't care." I think I honestly think Geordi would be the only guy that cared how awesome Sherlock is. I think
that makes sense. He is probably the only one who would be wowed by him.
So I kind of think that Sherlock would go from person to person trying to pull his shit, the stuff that he does, and I don't think he would do as well.
Yeah, I don't think it would land the same.
Whereas I think that Watson,
I think would do really great because he's such a good guy.
He'd be the one. He'd freak out first, the first 10 minutes.
Oh yeah, no, he would. But you know what? He would do it in that quiet British way of his that is really charming.
Yeah, but for a second he'd go all Bilbo. He'd be all that that level of flustered. But yeah, I think.
I think they would love him. They would just fall in love with him, and he would just be happy as a clam.
Yeah, and Sherlock would be out of. So it's interesting. Sherlock, I think
he'd become buddy with Data because that would be his Sherlock surrogate.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. Doctor Who. Let's just postulate real quick. What happens? Who's your favorite?
Hasn't this been done fan fiction wise? Isn't there a fan fiction crossover in terms of Star Trek and Doctor Who?
Yes, but I want to know from your point of view, who's your favorite Doctor? Have you seen all of it now?
No, I'm still not caught up. I stopped partway through Matt Smith.
All right, so who's your favorite Doctor of all the ones you've seen?
It's a tie with David Tennant and Tom Baker.
Really? So you watched all of Doctor Who up to Matt Smith?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. You ran the marathon and then stopped right before the finish line?
Well, so what I did was I started with Eccleston because that's what everybody told me to do.
Yeah.
And I did that, and I went through to Matt Smith, and then I got to a place where I was like, okay, I can stop here and feel okay. There's still some stuff that I don't know, and there's questions that could be answered, but there's nothing really big looming right now, and I'm not going to be really irritated that the next episode isn't out if I stop here.
I think they're
stopping
all out
here.
Now, aren't they all on Netflix now?
Yeah, but it's still going. And I don't feel comfortable yet getting to a place where there's where I feel comfortable that I don't have to watch what's on TV.
Do you have any idea what's happening next on Doctor Who, on what's coming up in Doctor Who?
I know there's a new Doctor.
Okay, good. That's okay.
I didn't care for that actor when I last saw him, so I'm trying to reserve judgment. I'm a little peeved that they didn't go anywhere interesting with it. They didn't go ahead and take the leap and have the first female Doctor. That irritates me kind of a lot because they had great choices. There are so many great choices for it.
I don't want them to have a female Doctor. I wouldn't mind a spin-off with another Time Lord who is female, but I feel like the Doctor has been male. I just feel like the Doctor...
He hasn't, though. He's talked about being female.
Has he?
Yes.
I don't think... No, I think we know all of the incarnations that the Doctor has ever been.
No, we don't.
He can only have 13. And I think we know who all of them are. I
don't believe so. I'm almost certain he said before in a line, about being a woman.
Maybe a thing happened at some point, but at no point in any of his regenerations has he been a woman. So that being said, I think it'd be really cool for the. So what I was gonna say is feel free to watch through to the end of Matt Smith. I think that I don't think you'd be dissatisfied unless you're just dissatisfied by the shit that it gives you. But
here's the thing, Doctor Who does this sort of a lot. There's a lot of build-up and then questions put out there that you really need at least for me, right? I need to know the answer. And when I don't, I'll start to freak out about it and then I'll be all pissed that I can't see the next episode and then I'll get all bajiggity and I don't want to be like that. That's not fun for me.
I'll take a look for you so you don't get spoiled and I'll see how far Netflix lets you go and I'll let you know.
Okay, because if there's a good stopping point that's later than where I've stopped, I'm happy to go there. I stopped.
You should watch to the end of Smith, and you should make sure to watch the 50th
The
anniversary
anniversary.
special. Yeah.
So I
which
did
is-
stop where I stopped, and then I went back and started at the beginning.
Okay.
Is what I did.
So how does which doctor do you think does best transplanted on the Enterprise D, or do they all do equally well because it's all good?
It's
for
all
them?
kind of the same dude, I feel like, in a lot of ways. What I think is more interesting is I think Donna Noble would do phenomenally.
Really.
I do. She's by far my favorite companion.
Oh, I love Rose. I love Rose and I love Amy Pond.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all that you love the two. Like, Rose is not as bad as Amy Pond, but Amy Pond is like, oh, so I saw this thing on the Facebook.
I like
and it
Amy
was
Pond's
this-
story. I like Amy
And it
Pond's
was a
story.
study of, like, essentially, like, the Bechdel test of all the companions. And, like, it's, like, the only person who's, like, the only companion who does, like, phenomenally well is Donna Noble. Like, as a female character. Like, almost all the other ones are, like, in love with him, or it's all about a dude. Like, the only thing I like about Amy Pond is Rory.
I like Rory too, and
Yeah,
I like.
I like that he's in love with her, and he's so in love with her, he'll do anything for her. It doesn't feel quite as reciprocal, and she's weak and less. She's not anywhere near a Donna Noble. Like, she couldn't even.
I knowing you, I know why you like Donna Noble better. Although I'd be interested to think to find out what you thought of Martha Jones, because she did have an unrequited love for the Doctor, and when it was unrequited, she was like, "Well, guess what? I'm done."
It
Then.
irritated me.
But
it
then
did-
she
But
was
then
willing
the
to
fact
go.
that she left was good. I was like, well, at least she's got a little bit of agency. She's like, fine, you know what? I'm just gonna peace out then because I don't need this.
Did you watch Torchwood at all?
Yes, I watched all of Torchwood. Don't fucking.
Wait, did you watch season
By
4?
the end of Torchwood, I was really upset with Torchwood.
Did you watch? You watched the Mackay 5, like when they went to America, Torchwood? Season
went to
4 of
America?
Torchwood? When they went to America and Mackay Pfeiffer's in it, and they all have to go like with the FBI and stuff. Season 4 of Torchwood.
I mean, I know I watched all of Torchwood.
What's the last thing
don't-
that happened on Torchwood? What's the thing that really
The
bothered?
Children of God.
No, there's more. There's more. Don't watch it. It's awful. It's awful. And I agree with you, by the way.
I mean, by the time we get to Children of God, it's awful.
Here's the
like,
thing about Torchwood.
All the people that the only people that are left by that point irritate
Hey,
the
spoil
fuck
la
out of me.
la 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 la. If you're listening right now and you don't want to be spoiled on Torchwood, jump ahead 2 minutes, 3 minutes. So here's the thing, right? I agree with you. We're on the same page. I
Interesting.
like consequences, but the fact that they killed Owen twice.
Oh, like,
I was
and
like-
just to really draw out the whole thing with
Yeah,
him and her,
Prolonging death, what you and I talked about before we went on the air. But here's the thing that gets
piss
me.
me off.
I thought children or whatever. I don't think it's Children of God. It's something else. So it's something. But it's
Children of something.
yeah. I was captivated. I thought it was amazing. And actually, the new Doctor is in that, and he's really
Oh, I
good.
know. He's okay. I don't.
He's really good.
I'm not wowed by him yet. As
But
an actor.
I thought it was really good. I was so compelled by what was going on. It frightened me. It excited me. I was so into it.
Yeah, but
And
think
then-
about the fucking end. It was
Here's
so
the thing.
fuck
It was
that. Fuck all of it.
manipulative. It was manipulative, and that's
Horribly so.
I agree with you. There was no reason to do that. There was nothing. You see, I like consequences.
Other than to make you feel pain. Like, that's
Yeah.
all it was. It was a big fucking pain sandwich that they, like, planned out, and they were like, here you go. It's like how I felt about the fucking Bumblebee moment in fucking Transformers. It was like that same shit. Like, it's like, I'm going to build this up because
Wait a
I'm going
minute,
to.
are
I
you
know
talking
that
about
you
the
love
new-
this.
wait, are you talking about Transformers 4, the new one?
No, I'm talking about
Right.
whatever the last one was. You know, we know how much you love it. We really built this up, and so this is the moment where we're gonna really make you feel like, no,
Yeah.
like, fuck you and your
that-
manipulation.
See,
When
and
I
that-
can tell that you're manipulating me emotionally, you fucking lost, man. You
And that's
fucked
the
up.
difference. That's the difference between Torchwood and Joss. That's it, because Joss will hurt you, then make you deal with it, then bring you through it, and then you come out the other side and something has changed. Like it's not just death, awfulness, crying.
I don't know. I
and-
kind of
oh,
got past, like, I would agree with you in the beginning, but I don't know that I agree with you anymore in terms of Joss's writing. And I was really disappointed when they finally told us about Coulson.
Really?
Yeah. I
Boy,
was
we're
like,
spoiling it. They're just called
really?
the spoiler show.
That's your answer? Like
But
that?
we won't tell you. But you guys have to go watch it to find out what it is, because we're not going to spoil it, because it would be horrible. Like the word, just alienate everybody. Here are the top 10 spoilers of everything
Of
that ever happened.
everything ever. I haven't been watching Game of Thrones, but I know what happens in the book, so I can spoil it all anyway.
So here it's spoiler alert for season 4 of Torchwood. It sucks. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. It's fun to see Gwen and Jack again, and they're fun. They're fun to watch.
Oh, and
them.
I love Jack. I could watch Jack Harkness.
And I like Gwen. I like Gwen too. But you know what?
I like Gwen too. Yeah.
Mekhi Phifer, who's a good actor, shows
Yes.
up, and he's on a totally different show. I don't know what show he's on,
But it's
he's
not Torchwood.
He's so bad, and all the new shit is so
Are you
bad.
serious? Because
Phil-
he is a good actor.
Phil from Podcast 2, there's a plan to resurrect it, by the way, folks. So know that.
Cool.
Phil warned me if it ever came out, because it's on Netflix now, that it would piss me off, and I was like, no, how bad could it be? And I got about 4 episodes in, I'm like, I'm done. I quit. I don't care. It's
I don't
worse,
care.
it's worse than hurting you. It's worse than manipulating you. You just are bored. You're waiting for the episode to end. You're just going, when's it's over? When's it's done? I'd rather watch something else. And then I discovered Arrow. So
Now that's a great show.
all right, so real quick, let's go. Because we're just about out of time.
Fine. So who on Arrow then, since you brought it up?
Yeah, here we go. I'm going to go. You only get 10 seconds per show, best and worst. Here we go. Arrow. Best.
Felicity.
Felicity does best
I
on
think
Next
so.
Gen. I agree
think
with
so.
you. She's almost a Next Gen character, isn't she?
She kind of is. She would fit right in. She'd be
She's
like, this is
Jordy's
fucking
girlfriend.
awesome.
She's Jordy's girlfriend. She's
Totally
like
Jordy's girlfriend.
Yeah, she's and who does the worst?
Arrow.
Arrow does the worst on it?
I think he does.
I think what's her name? Who's the lawyer who was terrible in the second season?
I just don't like her, period, so I try not to think about her.
You don't like her, period? Gross.
I can't stand Laurel.
I hate her, period.
Stand her.
I
mean,
okay.
and I'm sure that she's a lovely human being.
I liked her in season 1.
So
I
plastic
loved her in
and
season 1.
plain, and I hate the character, and she's always crying about something.
I liked her in Nightmare.
She's always whining about something, and it makes me so angry.
Okay, Buffy
But I
the
think
Vampire Slayer. Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Buffy.
Best.
Willow, because I love her.
I agree with you. I actually think that she would acclimate. She's nerdy enough that she would sort of acclimate
she
to what's
could- she
going
could
on.
make it- yeah, she could.
I
She
think-
could hang.
And I think that any incarnation of Willow does well. Actually, I think nerdy.
Even Dark Willow.
No, not that. Not that.
Okay, not Dark Willow.
but I think everyone else. I think that that Magic Willow does well because she is just used to weird things happening, and I think that nerdy Shy Willow does well because that's the kind of character that really thrives on the D. So I agree with you. Who does the worst? Buffy?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, she doesn't do well with anything except slaying vampires.
That's pretty much
That's
it.
the point of the show.
I mean, and that's why I would say that's the reason that Arrow doesn't really fit it. Like, he's got too much baggage in his own shit. You know what I mean? That he wouldn't be able to get he wouldn't actually be able to get past.
He just sits and
he'd just
bent
be like
forward
brooding in
brooding.
a corner, like he'd just be in like Cargo Bay 3 brooding.
He and Worf get
all
along
the
really
time.
well. He and Worf get along really well.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sure Worf would be like, he is a great warrior.
Okay. Blah 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 blah. Favorite shows: Quantum Leap, Sam and Al. Who does well? Who does badly? And they're time travelers. These guys.
I know.
Who does well?
Sam.
Who does well? Sam does well.
Absolutely. He's always acclimated better than Al.
You know, I know this is
what's
weird
going
because he ends up being a captain of the Enterprise one day.
I'm saying.
But I actually think Al does better. I think that Sam.
How do you figure? Do you remember the one time when their roles were reversed?
Yeah, but their roles were reversed.
Or Al.
I think that Al just always seems more savvy. He always seems to adapt better to like immediately. He seems more future-y, I guess, maybe to me. I think that Sam.
Sure.
I think that Al is immediately down to let's get to work. Where I think Sam just ends up like sort of listless on the Enterprise and doesn't really know what to do with himself.
No way. I think Sam is. I think he'd be passionate. I think he'd be like, this shit is amazing, and he would be like. I mean, he's the one who came up with the whole Quantum Leap project. I think he'd be like a kid in a candy store, man.
All right, we'll agree to disagree. What
Yeah,
else are
because
we-
once again, you're wrong.
I guess I am. Except that I'm not.
That you totally are.
Friends.
Friends.
Who does well?
That's really funny.
I know who does well. I'm gonna see if you agree with me.
Oh, I don't.
There are only
Hey.
6 choices.
I know. Well, it's not Joey. Joey
Not
does
Joey.
horribly.
No,
And it's not. It's
I don't
not.
think he does.
Phoebe does horribly as well.
I disagree. I think she
Really?
does best. Yeah. I think she does best.
I mean, you think she does best, Phoebe?
I think that Phoebe takes it all in fucking stride. I think everybody
I
else.
guess
stresses
yeah.
out.
It's hard to phase Phoebe. I guess.
Like I think Chandler gets stressed out. I think Monica
oh,
can't.
definitely. Monica
think
definitely too.
Monica
too-
can't hack it. Joey's just is
Too
just
dumb.
too dumb for it. I think that Jennifer Aniston is just too Jennifer Aniston-y. I think Phoebe's the one who immediately just sort of acclimates to
Like,
what's
oh,
going on.
Okay.
I think she becomes the Phoebe of Star Trek: The Next Generation. I just think she immediately jumps in. I think she could
I mean,
be
yeah,
a
I don't
regular
think
character.
she'd be freaking out if that's what we're going on.
She's like I was unmad about you. I can just go on any show. And I think I agree with you. I think Joey. I don't know if I think Ross does worst. I think
Ross does the absolute worst. Yeah, Ross does because he's got all of his neuroses. He's got, you know what I mean, like that. It was just he's really high strung. Yeah, like he does the worst. He doesn't have very good coping mechanisms. That poor kid.
Boy, there's so many shows, but like all my shows are sci-fi shows. So I'm like, who does really Deep Space Nine? Well, okay, O'Brien.
I mean Avengers.
Oh, you want to do the Avengers? Go to movie? Okay, the Avengers.
No. I guess Shield, Agents of Shield.
No, let's do it. Let's do the Avengers. I think that's more fun. The Avengers. Who does well? Who does best? Yeah, I know who does best. I'm gonna see if you agree with me. Who does best? Again, only 6 to choose from.
The Hulk. Just kidding.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Close-up decompression. End of show.
End of show. Maybe Tony.
No, I don't think. I think Captain
I guess
America
there's
does
not enough
best.
ego for him. Yeah, Captain America's got that heart of gold, and
He's already acclimated. He acclimated well in the first place. Like he just sort of gets. We know he takes it in stride. I don't think that jumping to the 24th century. I think that he is right in line with Starfleet. I think Tony would have Tony would be like he'd be like Scotty when Scotty showed up. Be like, this is bullshit. Like where's my like I want.
yeah, I think there's not enough ego for Tony.
Tony wants to go to the 23rd century. That's where Tony's happy. Tony's happy in Kirkland.
Yes, he's happy being Kirk's rival and beating him out somehow.
And I don't mean generic Safeway products. Because they're Kirkland. Get it? Who does
You're so
worst though?
funny.
I think Black Widow does worst. Or Hawkeye, like equally. I don't
think Hawkeye does worse than Black Widow.
Really?
No, he's not. I mean, first of all,
There's not much to Hawkeye. I don't know enough about Hawkeye to judge one way or the other.
he's pretty chill.
Yeah, and I think Black Widow is very much a product of who she is and her. I think Have you seen Captain America 2?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that she shows that she is a product of what she is, and I don't think she translates. I think she's a little too dark.
Yes,
So-
she's too dark for sure, and I don't think Hawkeye has that though. I think he'd be alright
Um.
because I love him. I love Jeremy Renner.
Okay, let's turn the other way. Justice League. Who are the Justice League? Who does well?
Wonder Woman.
Really?
Yeah, because I love her.
I love her too, but it's got to be Superman. Again, it's Sakharine. He's an alien. I'm so happy. He shows up. I like muffins, and they're all like, "I like muffins too." Let's not argue about anything. Let's
I
never
love
argue.
how that's what you think would happen. I like muffins because apparently, among other things, Superman loves fucking muffins.
Superman's gonna show up and like, I don't want to argue with you, and they're gonna be like, we don't like to argue either. And by that, and then of course Batman does the worst.
Oh yeah, no, Batman would be
Everything's bad. Everything's shitty bad. All right, look, that's it. We've gone back to the future. We've done season 8.
But you didn't even do Shield. Why didn't you do Agents of Shield?
Honestly, because I can barely remember everybody's name. If I really try, I can. I'm like, Fitz and Simmons, they both do okay. Coulson does okay. Sky probably does okay.
No, fuck
And
Sky. Sky doesn't do okay. I don't like
he
her.
does okay. Everyone does okay. In Shield, in that scenario, they all show up and they're kind of like, okay, here we are. Because they're just kind of like, that's like, I don't see any one of them like going like, this is awful. They're just kind of like, yeah, okay, we're here. I mean, they live on a ship. They live on a plane.
On a plane, that's not quite the same thing.
Yeah, but they're just gonna be like, this is a fucking bigger plane. It's just like that's. Your plane's so much bigger than my plane.
I don't think there'd be much use for what's his name. No, I think May would be okay. She's a pilot. I think she would have things to do. You know, the guy who's like, I don't really care for him. You don't care about him.
I like him now. I like him at the end of shit. Anyway.
Yeah, no, I like him better now than I did, but he's still like, there's no play. Like, I can't see what he would do.
Yeah, Captain Vanilla Man.
Yeah, like, what would he be?
Who's now Dark Vanilla? He's like French Vanilla. He's got dark
specs. French Vanilla. He's like a French vanilla roast.
All right, man, that's Trek Off. I hope you enjoyed our really lackadaisical journey. We promise to do better next time.
No, we don't. Don't make promises we don't know we can keep.
This was not my best show. I know I can do better next time. I know it's gonna be good. I know it's just gonna be the best. But it doesn't have to be the best every time, because then something can be the best if other things aren't the best. That's how it goes. That's how it goes.
What are you talking about?
I don't know. I'm out of my fucking gourd. I'm gonna go. My name's Justin.
My name's Alex.
Bye.
Trek up, bitches.
And that's the show.
That counts.
We should keep this. Oh god. That was fun. I had fun. I hope they had fun. I was having a good time.
I know. I mean, I enjoy talking with you all the time. So I mean, I don't, you know.
It was fun. I'm gonna go now because I gotta go because I can't feel my foot really. I can't feel now, so I gotta go lay down.
Okay.
So I will keep you apprised. I will. Yeah, lots of stuff going on. I'll let you know what happens.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I hope you feel better. If you need anything, just let me know.
I will. And I will talk to you soon.
Okie dokie.
Bye.
Bye.